500 episodes. 500 times we've seen the dedicated detectives of Law and Order, SVU, chasing down criminals and villains of every stripe, and on Thursday night, SVU outdid itself with a milestone episode titled, appropriately, the 500th episode. It harkened back to old characters, brought back some much-missed ones, and put a fantastic twist on Benson, who realized that despite all her experience, she's vulnerable to denial when it comes to her own difficult past. It wasn't an episode for everyone, particularly fans chasing a relationship between Olivia Benson and her former partner Elliot Stabler. Stabler did make a brief appearance in the episode, but in flashback, and it wasn't about servicing their unique bond. Instead, Benson ended up in bed with a very old flame, and learned something about herself in the process. From the start, 500th took a different path. Questions from Benson's son, Noah, about his grandmother prompted Benson to flash back to a conversation they'd once had. This flashback was just one of several trips into the past. Later, Benson was shown talking to now-departed ADA Casey Novak through the episode. In these flashbacks, we were reminded of a few things.
1. Benson is the child of the rape. 2. Her mother was a drinker, and troubled. When Olivia moved out, she threatened her daughter with a glass shard from a vodka bottle. 3. But her mother wasn't wrong about trying to keep young Olivia safe. The blasts from the past continued at work as former Det Nick Amaro showed up, saying he was working with an author and podcaster who wanted to open up a cold case and get a wrongly convicted rapist freed. But that case wasn't actually the focus of the episode, it was an excuse to introduce Bert and Lo. "We are old friends," said a surprised Benson on seeing Lo, and yet, that was the real story of the hour. In the flashback with Novak, Benson explains that at 16, she dated one of her mother's students, who was 21 at the time. He even asked her to marry him, but Serena wouldn't allow it. Olivia had to write a letter to break things off. Young love, quashed by mean old parents. Tale as old as time. Kudos to SVU for digging up that chestnut, and for letting us meet the old flame, Lo. And the spark was still there. Benson and Lo worked through the case together, twice. Benson even had a FaceTime chat with former Captain Don Cregan, and it turned out that the new DNA technology was able to right the wrongs in the old rape case. And in the course of getting to know each other again through the case, Benson and Lo fell back into each other's arms. That sound you're hearing is the wail of thwarted Stabler fans, but come on, everyone knows Benson never gets a happy ending, so there's really nothing to worry about. And then, the other shoe dropped. Lo was suddenly accused by several women of sexual assault. They say he was coercive with them, got them drunk, had sex with them, that he was a guy taking advantage of young, impressionable women, adding in a big dose of alcohol, and easily moving along with his life. Time for the Stabler flashback, in which the partners talk about how when a father is absent, it's not unusual for a woman to be attracted to an older man. Well played, SVU. Suddenly this love story of teen Benson and 21-year-old Lo maybe wasn't romantic. Maybe it was predatory. But here's the twist. For a couple of beats, Benson became an apologist for Lo. He's not a rapist, she told Amaro, then laid out every reason why the situation between her and Lo was okay back in the day, but why it's not okay for victims right now. With every line, she proved to the audience that even if you have 500 cases under your belt, you're not immune to wanting to view your past with rose-colored glasses. But Benson is Benson, and she knows how to put on her big girl pants. So she informed Lo that while he can't be charged, they're done. Meanwhile, his world was crumbling in other ways. His podcast and writing career were trashed, and he went viral on social media. He melted down in front of Benson, and it turned out the pair did sleep together when she was just 16. That, said Benson, is technically sexual assault. "We were in love," he insisted. "I was a teenager, and my house was a mess," said Benson. Maybe her mom wasn't as crazy as she remembered. And just like when she walked out on her mother, as she closed the door on the half-drunk Lo, she flinched at the sound of glass breaking. And then she walked away. I hate him for what he did to you, Olivia told Serena in a flashback, referring to her mother's rapist. And if he hadn't, you would not be here, Serena tells her. The past, as they say, is a foreign country. And with episode 500, SVU showed us that even someone like the great Olivia Benson is not immune to wanting to live there, instead of here. Chef's kiss.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe